Amendments made to the Constitution further the ideals contained in the Declaration of Independence by adapting the foundation of our nation to support its people as they change and grow. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified on July 9, 1868, and granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, which included free slaves. In addition, it forbids states from denying any person life, liberty, or property without due process of law, or to deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. The 14th Amendment greatly expanded the protection of civil rights to all Americans, and it is cited in more legislation than any other amendment. In 1866, John Beningham's statement that all persons, whether citizens or strangers within this land, shall have equal protection in every state in this Union, in the rights of life, liberty, and property was highly controversial. At the time, white supremacy was prevalent through the nation, and many were upset by Beningham's desire for equality. It was also controversial because it included non-citizens, and the Constitution is often seen as a protection for Americans. The Privileges and Immunities Clause of Article 4, Section 2 of the Constitution states that that the citizens of each state shall be entitled to all privileges and immunities of citizens in the several states. The privileges and immunities that are protected under Article 4 include the right to receive protection from state government, the right to acquire possesses of all kinds of property, the right to travel through or reside in any state for purposes of trade, agriculture, or professional endeavors, the right to claim the benefit of the right habeas corpus, the right to sue and defend actions in court, and the right to receive the same tax treatment as all the citizens of that taxing state. This clause seems to ensure all people of the nation can travel freely throughout the states without being treated in a discriminatory manner. Beningham's statement is still controversial today. When applied to marriage equality, in 2016, Obergefell v. Hodge was a landmark case for marriage equality. The Privileges and Immunities Clause applied to this case because the same-sex couples' marriages were not recognized across all 50 states prior to the court's ruling. This deprived from their ability to be treated fairly. The court also held that the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment guarantees the right to marry as one of the fundamental liberties it protects. Additionally, the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment also guarantees the right to same-sex couples to marry, as the denial of that right would deny same-sex couples equal protection under the law. Obergefell v. Hodge mirrors Loving v. Virginia in 1967. 16 states had still not repealed their anti-miscegenation laws that forbid interracial marriages. Mildred and Richard Loving were residents of Virginia, who had fallen in love and wanted to get married. Under Virginia's laws, Richard, a white man, could not marry Mildred, a black woman. The two traveled to Washington, D.C., where they could be married, but were arrested. They were given a prison sentence of 1 year each. The United States Supreme Court, in a unanimous decision, reversed the Virginia court's ruling. The Loving decision still stands as a milestone in the civil rights movement. The Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution prohibits states from denying any person within its territory the equal protection of laws. This means that a state must treat an individual in the same manner as others in similar conditions and circumstances. The Equal Protection Clause is crucial to the protection of civil rights. It is important to mention victories of the civil rights movement without pointing to Brown versus the Board of Education. Segregation of public schools based solely on race was allowed in states if the facilities were equal. Brown overturned that decision. Regardless of the equality of facilities, the court ruled that separate is inherently unequal. The unanimous court wrote that equality education was crucial for all children and ruled that it was the state's responsibility to ensure educational equality. Throughout history, Americans had valued freedom and equality. The 14th Amendment addressed citizenship's rights and equal protection of the laws, and was created to pave the way to true freedom and equality for all people.